Wow, that's gonna be tough. Let me think about this for a moment. No. Yeah, that's stupid. Oh, that's a good one. Hey guys, what's up? So I've been sourcing questions from a few different platforms for the last few days. So if you submitted a question, thank you. What I'm gonna do now is go through unscripted and answer these questions for you. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible, and hopefully everyone gets some value out of this. If you're new here, my name is Akash, and I'm a product manager at Okta in Silicon Valley. And on this channel, I talk about the ways that I'm leveling up my product management skills and career. Let's jump right into it. So the first question is, I am an architect turned construction project manager professional. Want to transition to product management. Is an MBA my best bet? I already have a master's from USA. If yes, why? So I'll break this down into a few different parts. First of all, if you already have project management experience, that's great because you already have that skill set of time management and project management down. That is a small aspect of product management itself, but it's one skill that you don't have to build and you already bring to the table. So that's great. I don't think an MBA is the right next step for you. If you think about it, for product managers or for anyone recruiting for product management, the only thing that they care about is, has this person demonstrated that they will be a good product manager? And the only way to do that is to get some product skills and product experience. If you're not able to get your first product management role, I have a video here which I'll link to that talks more in depth about this, but your best bet is to get some sort of product management skills and experience. You can do this by doing like a side hustle, working for a friend who has a startup, or volunteering for a company and just saying, hey, I can help you with some product management thinking. If that's not an option, you can also look at your current company. Can you work with a product manager, or can you pick up some product management skills on the side? I think those are some good ways for you to showcase that product management experience on your resume to potential employers. That's going to be your best bet for getting into product management, is you have to prove that you will be a good product manager and that you have built some product management skills along the way. Second question is broadly product management and how to land PM jobs. I think I just talked about that. I just talked about the how to land the PM jobs part of it. Let me talk more broadly about product management. I think there's a lot of misconceptions and there's a lot of hype around product management which needs to be distilled, and people need to really spend the time learning what product management means and what being a good product manager means. A lot of people go into this with red tinted glasses, thinking that everything is rosy and nice, but they don't necessarily know about the other aspects of the job. I'm going to link 5 reasons here that you should not become a product manager, so check out that video if you're interested. Next question is, what's one thing you would really like to change about a product you use every day? Let me think about this for a moment. No. Yeah, that's stupid. Okay, so I try to keep up with news and current events and things that are going on every day. I typically use a mix of newsletters, websites that I access, and just word of mouth and listening to people around me. I would love to have a way for me to see different aspects and different points of view for the same story. So for example, I want to know, when there is a controversy going on, what is the other side of it? For example, with all the hearings at Congress that are happening with tech, what are both sides of the conversation and what are the arguments from each side? I think in the news and in the media and social media that we have today, there's a lack of understanding of the other side of things, and that leads to a lot of fake news and a lot of tunnels and rabbit holes forming across the internet. So I would love to see a news platform that spends the time to balance things out and have both sides of the news story covered. That's something that I would love to see. Okay, so the next question is, what challenges or learning curves have you faced in your role as a product manager? How did you overcome them? Oh, that's a good one. So let me talk about two stories. First is, I first became a product manager at a tech company in India, Reliance Jio, about 8-9 years ago. And what I had to grapple and deal with was that I was the first PM on that team. And so I had to kind of become a PM as I learned how to be a PM. I had to set the goals and set the vision for the product while still figuring out how does that translate into day-to-day workings, how does Scrum work, how do you translate things from a product requirements document to sprints, etc. So I think in that phase I had to learn about being a product manager without having someone to guide me, and that's something that was really tough. So looking back, if I had to do it over again, I would have maybe even pushed that role out by some time until I learned exactly what it means to become a PM, or worked with someone who was already an established PM and learned from them of how things are done. So the second story is when I joined Okta, I didn't have any enterprise experience or any experience in the security space. And so I had to learn a lot of industry jargon and industry nuances as I went through and became a product manager at Okta. This meant that I was spending a lot of time learning about the industry while also figuring out Okta's products and what Okta's vision for its products should be. The way I dealt with this was spending a lot of time speaking to customers. So I actually volunteered to lead a beta program at Okta, which meant that I was spending hours every day and every week speaking to customers, getting face-to-face time with customers, seeing how they used a beta product and getting feedback from them. And through that, I learned what are the use cases and what are the things that are important to these customers. So that helped me figure out what the priorities of the customer are and how I should be prioritizing features to be built at Okta. The next question is, why do you think the barriers of entry are so high for PM? If you look at this from a macro point of view, who are the people who are trying to become PMs? There are software engineers who are trying to become PMs. There are MBA grads who are trying to become PMs. There are people who are in product related roles like product strategy or product marketing who are trying to become PMs. And of course, there are other PMs at other companies who are vying for that role, the new role of becoming a PM at a certain company. So that means that the demand for becoming a PM is really high. But on the supply side of things, the supply of PM roles is governed by how many software engineers a company has. And typically the ratio is about 10 software engineers to 1 PM. So what that means is, for every 10 software engineers, obviously not all of them want to become PMs, but there's probably a few who want to become PMs. There's only one role to actually become a PM at their company. And so there's so many people fighting or competing with each other to become that PM and to get that PM role that the barriers for entry have to be high. Again, the most important thing for becoming a PM is to actually get some product related experience, and that could be in a PM role itself, which would be amazing, or it can be subsets of product skills. So you can just be focused on customer discovery, or you can be focused on being a Scrum leader, or you can be focused on research and marketing. So pick up as many PM skills as you can, and that'll help you overcome those barriers and market yourself as, hey, these are ways that I have proven that I will be a good PM. What's one thing you wish people knew about being a product manager? Being a product manager sometimes is pretty lonely. I work with a lot of different teams and a lot of cross-functional teams. I work with engineers and designers and marketers and sales folks and field folks, but I am not on the same team as any of them, so I don't have that level of bonding with any of them. And then the other product managers at my company are working in different products in different areas, so I don't have as much interaction with them on a day-to-day basis. So especially with remote work, it's become really hard, and it's become really important for not just me but all product managers to make sure that they stay connected to everyone around them, make sure that they reach out to others in the team, and make sure that they are not getting too isolated. I think that's the biggest pain or the biggest part of being a product manager that is often overlooked. How did HBS MBA help you in your PM career till date? Why didn't you take up a PM role at Google post your internship with Google? So let me talk about the first part of that question first. I think the HBS MBA has helped me in my role as a product manager. It has helped me know what the different aspects of the business side of things I should be thinking about, as well as actually it has helped me a lot in the communication and interpersonal skills aspect of being a product manager. Being a product manager is maybe 50% about people and working with different people and working with different teams. So I feel like HBS and being forced into the high dynamic aspect of an MBA forced me to gain a lot of those interpersonal and people management skills that are essential for being a product manager. Another aspect that has really helped me in being a product manager has been the network that I've gained from my MBA at HBS. When I was looking for a job after I graduated from my MBA, I was able to tap into a huge network from my MBA. And this network really helped me figure out what are the companies that I should be looking at and making introductions for me at these companies with product managers who could help me in referring me and applying to those companies. So the MBA has helped me in gaining some valuable skills as well as having access to that network. So for the second part of that question about why I didn't join Google after my internship there, I was looking for a company that was smaller than Google and somewhere in the middle in terms of not a startup but not too big of a company, and that's why Okta was the perfect fit for me. So why was I not looking for something too big or too small? I didn't want to go to a startup as a product manager because, like I said, in my previous role before my MBA, I had the struggle of not having another product manager to work with and learn from. So I definitely wanted to go to an organization that already had product experience and had a way of functioning as a product organization. On the other end of the spectrum, I did not think that Google was the right fit for me or any company the size of Google, because I wanted to be at a company that was in its growth stages where I could grow with the company and grow with the product, as well as own a big portion of the pie. That's always the trade-off between a smaller company and a bigger company. The smaller you go, the more ownership you have and the bigger the part of the product you actually own. So I was looking at a company that had between 15 to say 40 PMs in the product organization, and Okta was the exact right size for me. I was PM number 25 or so, and so that was the perfect size that I was looking for. How late is too late for HBS? Any advice for someone who is considering this in their 30s? So first, let me give you the two sides of the coin and the two possible aspects of this that you should be thinking about. The first aspect that might work against you is that the median age of students at HBS is 27. HBS tends to skew more younger compared to other MBA programs, and tends to favor people who have between 2 to 4 years of work experience, meaning they're between 23 and 27. The other aspect of it is that yes, there are 50% of the people who are older than 27, and I did have a lot of classmates who were 33, 34, 35, and even older. The number of students above 32 and 33 did get smaller and smaller, and I think the main reason for that is that a lot of people see less value in an MBA the older they are and the more invested they are already in their career. An MBA is really great for boosting your career when you're just getting started or you just have a few years of experience, but a traditional MBA might not be the right answer if you're already 7, 8, 9 years into your career. That said, if you are looking to apply to HBS in your 30s, I don't think that is too late. I think you can definitely go for it. What you will have to prove is, since you're on the older side of applicants, what additional experience and what additional expertise do you bring to the table? Think of it from the HBS recruiter and interviewer's point of view. They want to fill each seat at HBS with someone who has the most diverse experiences, because how much you bring to the MBA is how much everyone else gets from the MBA and vice versa. So focus on what you've gained from being an older applicant to HBS. So the next question is, I'm curious, whom do you look up to as role models, professionally and personally? So professionally, I like to follow a lot of people who are putting themselves out there and creating a community around them. I think there's a lot of great examples of this. Steve Jobs was always a big role model for me and continues to be even today. I have followed his journey and looked up to him for many years. The way that he was able to have a vision for his products and figure out the core use cases for his products, which the users and customers would actually use them for before they even knew it, was phenomenal to me and something that I strive to do in every product that I think of. How do I think about the core use case that I'm trying to solve? And what is the vision that I have for this product? Okay, so the next question is, what are the cons of being in Silicon Valley other than cost of living? And have you thought about leaving the area and living somewhere else someday? The biggest con of being in Silicon Valley is the bubble and echo chamber that gets formed while you're in Silicon Valley. When I drive down the street and I see Teslas everywhere and I see autonomous cars everywhere, when I go into a store and I see contactless payments and AI-based robots making coffee and all of these things, that forms some sort of an echo chamber which makes me and other people lose touch with the reality outside of Silicon Valley. The fact is that things like AI and machine learning and autonomous cars are still not a reality for most of the world. And that's something that we should not bias too much on. A lot of venture capitalists tend to be biased towards these kinds of technologies because they see the applications and the needs for them all around them. But that is not the reality outside of Silicon Valley. So I try to make sure that I get experiences from all over the world. I try to travel, well, when there's not a pandemic going on, as much as I can, so that I can learn from experiences and see what is going on in different parts of the world. I have thought about leaving Silicon Valley, and maybe I will someday, now that remote working is an actual possibility. What's the best equipment that has changed your YouTube journey? Just having, a basic set of lights and a mic to record on has made it vastly more easy for me to record and post videos. I think for me, the biggest aspect that I enjoy about YouTube and making videos like this is connecting with like-minded people and finding people who I can connect with and share ideas with. So I'm constantly looking for feedback on what I can improve in YouTube itself, but also about product management and my product skills overall. What's the best quote that changed your life? I think this was an old Chinese proverb. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So don't think about all the things that you could have done in the past and how your life could have been better if you had just done XYZ in the past. Just do it now and just get started now. There's no time like the present. Thanks to everyone who submitted questions. Sorry if I wasn't able to get to your question. And of course, thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.